Welcome back to the Frozen Forum podcast. This is episode 30. Man, we have had one heck of a week. We said last week we were gonna get 5 points. We said how we were gonna get it. It didn't exactly happen that way, but we got those 5 points at the end of the day. But first of all, as always, Alex, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. We got 5 points out of 6, man. It's kind of what we called. We might have got cheated out of one of them, but hey, I'll take the 5 points and I'll take the being in a wild card spot any day.
Yeah, we'll take that anytime. Yeah, that 1 point, whatever. It is what it is. We can't complain. 5 points. Man, especially after last night's game. Sorry?
Of course we can complain. It's just one of those where there's a lot brighter things to think about. I was actually thinking about this last night watching the game against Ottawa. I was thinking, wow, the Montreal fan base is just so much less negative and could not care less about the negative aspects of this team when we're winning like this, when we're winning hockey games. I mean, you remember how many times we've come on to this podcast and been like, wow, Mike Matheson sucks and whatever. I mean, he still sucks. I was just looking at the advanced stats. He's still bad. Are we going to talk about it today? No, because we got 5 points out of 6. Who cares how bad he was? You know what I mean? Isn't it great?
We had players last night almost getting 5 points. It was craziness.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That game. I think we should just jump right into it. I think finally we may have a new 3 stars. I want to hear yours first. I have my own 3 stars.
You have a new 3 stars?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the last 2 weeks have been the same for me, but it's different this week.
Let me think top ahead because I haven't actually made any thoughts towards this.
Okay, I can go first if you want.
Yeah, go first, and then I'll think about what I've been thinking about.
Okay, first, I'm still giving it to Nick Suzuki. He got us the game winner last night, and he's been putting up multiple points every night. Yeah, absolutely no complaints from him. Number 2, Samuel Montembeault. He gets us 2 wins this week. 2 big wins, one against Florida, one against Ottawa last night. Yeah, Monty definitely gets that 2nd star. You could even argue him for the 1st star. And then that 3rd star, I've got to give it to Slaf. This guy has 7 or 8 points in his last 4 games. He had 2 goals against, was it
Seattle?
The Kraken. He had 2 goals against the Kraken. I think he had 2 points last night as well, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been doing well. Another guy who I was thinking about that 3rd star spot was Brendan Gallagher. Vintage Habs, Brendan Gallagher right there from last night. I mean, 4-point night. It was a toss-up between Slaf and Gallagher for that 3rd star.
Did he get 4 points? Did he get 4 points?
Yeah, Gallagher had 4 points last night.
Wow. Yeah, no, honestly, I'd put Gallagher over Montembeault. I know you're giving Monty credit for those wins. I actually don't think he's made any wow, spectacular. I think he's just been doing his job, which is
Gallagher had 3 points. Dvorak had 4. I mixed it up.
There you go. Devo definitely doesn't get a star though, because he still there's other problems there. But I mean, hey, Christian Dvorak. Talking about Christian Dvorak, give him the honorary star because he hit 100 career NHL goals. This past week he got it in that Florida game, I think, and not only did he get in the Florida game, I guess it had been 18 games. I don't know about you, Nathan. I know you don't get to watch all of the games, but I have heard this stat that Christian Dvorak was at 99 career goals for 6 weeks. We've been talking about this for I think he went on a 19 game stretch where he didn't score a goal. And so in those 19 games, I just kept hearing, oh, he's on 99. Oh, he's on 99. It was and so when he scored, I was with someone and I was like, oh my gosh, Christian Dvorak, it's his 100th career goal. And 2 seconds later, the thing pops up on the thing saying, oh, look, it's his 100th career goal. And they're like, how did you know? I'm like, well, because I freaking heard about it 19 other times. That's what this is going to be.
Haven't you heard? I have a podcast.
I saw something actually, I was fully at a St. Patrick's Day party Saturday night, and I just had the phone out, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm working. I mean, this is work now. This is."
Yep, that's how it goes.
I agree with the other two though. Slaf has been really, really good. He's finally playing how he's supposed to be playing. I heard a great quote from Kent Hughes this week, because he talked a little bit about how Slaf has been playing, and he was like, "Yeah, he's finally getting to that point where we want him to be, when everything that he's doing right now becomes a second thought, like done without thinking, that's when we think he can push even further and get even another level to his development. But that's something we'll work on with him either in the off season or whatever after we've made all of these current practices like standard, which makes a lot of sense. Like instill the baseline, be like, this is, what you have to do every night. And then next year, let's add to that, and let's keep going better. I mean, if you can add to this,
Sky's the limit, bro. This guy is absolutely the
Nathan
limit.
McKinnon, watch out, like power forward in the NHL.
The other guy in the league that reminds me of Slaf right now is Quinton Byfield. I mean, they're both performing how we were expecting them to perform as they came into the league, and they're finally blossoming into what we're wanting to see. But Slaf, man, this past few games been very, very solid.
Very, very solid. And I mean, look, the whole team, like that win last night, I cannot imagine what it would feel like to be in the Bell Center right now. Like if tickets aren't more expensive than Toronto Maple Leaf tickets, I don't know what's going on, because like that vibe is just insane. I don't know if you saw this last night. They interviewed Josh Anderson because Andy had 2 goals, I think. So I think they made him the first star. They were interviewing Anderson like in the Bell Center. You know how they do those like things where they talk to the crowd, and like half the crowd's still in the building, and they're like, "Oh, Anderson, like, how's it feel to be, like, I mean, you guys right now, we can say it without a doubt, you are in a playoff spot. The Rangers are losing, which means you should still be in the playoff spot at the end of the night. How does that feel?" And he kind of like took a step back from the mic. And the crowd, I'm not going to lie, half the crowd cheered for 45 seconds straight. Just nothing else. And Anderson's just sitting there like smiling, like looking up, being like, wow. It's like, I cannot imagine how cool it would be to be in there right now. Like it's...
Dude, I'm actually so excited. I was talking to Nick about this. This is a little bit more personal, but if the Habs make the playoffs, we should go in May. We should go to a game.
Yeah, we're going. Like, are you kidding? Field
Without
trip, like,
and it's funded because of our Habs making the playoffs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it is. The whole trip's paid for. You're so right. Nathan, as a side note, was questioning our bet on that one at the beginning a few times this season.
Well, it was looking rough. There was a point there where the Habs were like a plus 2,000 or more to make the playoffs, and
should have doubled down.
If you look right now, I think they're like plus 130, 180.
Wow. Yeah,
We'll see.
no, I mean, look, right now the big story, we're 3 points ahead of every other team except for the Rangers. The Rangers have played 2 more games than we have. Right, like, man, it feels like we're starting to realize some of this. But with that, though, I want to talk about one more thing, because it has to be talked about before we talk about this Frozen Forum Flash thing. That Seattle game, I had a question for you about face-offs, okay? Because, again, I don't have a lot of playing history in the in hockey in general, okay? And you know what? If this is legal, I want to bring it to our intramural games, because, I could do this for sure. Are you allowed on a face-off? You know how like there's like an invisible line that separates the 2 teams? Are you allowed to cross that line before the puck gets dropped?
Depends on your body positioning. If you can make it look like you're behind the line, but like you're a little bit over it. Like I've done that.
Like if you're fully over the line before the puck has left the referee's hand, is that legal?
Can't do that.
You can't.
And that's what happened in overtime.
It is what happened in overtime. Okay, but you're saying I can't do that in intramurals then, right?
Hey, it's intramurals. The refs they don't care anyways, so you should try. Go ahead.
Refs, shout out to the refs. There's 2 of the guys at Waterloo intramurals who are like real refs, like certified and all that other stuff. And they keep complaining to me about the other refs, because all the other refs are just guys who like used to play hockey and like know nothing about how to ref a game, or like whatever else, not certified, not whatever. And so I just hear it from the 2 guys who are there. They're like, oh my gosh, these guys are like so stupid, and they make some really bad calls too sometimes, like these uncertified refs. And actually, we had one game. This is such a side note to this, but we had one game where the uncertified guy like called icing, and it should not have been icing, right? And the other guy comes over to me and he's like, "Man, if I called that when you were a coach, man, you would have yelled my head off like that. You would have been like off the wall, like just like going at me for it." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, probably."
Oh, because you're a full-time player now. You're not even
I'm a
wearing the
full
suit
time
anymore.
player, man,
Yeah.
with 2 assists through 6 games.
We'll take it.
I'm doing. I'll take. Yeah.
That's good. That's
2
very solid.
assists. Hey, 2 assists and 2 block shots.
Pretty good stat line if you really think about
Yeah.
it. For someone
If you really think about it, I don't know how I blocked the shots, but I will tell you, anybody who hasn't played hockey out there, blocking shots hurts. If you see the guys who limp, when they get an ankle, it hurts. Yeah, I thought I broke my ankle on the one, but
yeah, especially when it catches you in between the tongue of the skate and between the shin pad. If that ever happens, those are brutal.
that did
Or
not
the
happen.
worst, the absolute worst, is a puck off the side of the knee because there's a little area where there's no padding because your knee has to move. Those are the most painful. Bone bruises, hurts to move. Yeah,
I
that's
did
it.
go out for the next shift, though. I was kind of proud of myself. I won't lie.
Good job. Good job.
Okay, with that, we'll get back into the NHL. Let's go into the Frozen Forum Flash. I have one fun question and a bunch of other questions that are, straightforward,
Okay,
big.
let's do it.
Let's do it. We got 5 questions about the Habs, 5 questions about the rest of the NHL. Let's get into it. Question number 1 for you.
Wait. You got to bring in the Frozen Forum Flash. You just kind of for the episode for this.
All right. Welcome to episode 30. This is the Frozen Forum Flash. We have 5 questions about the NHL. 5 questions about the Montreal Canadiens. Not in that order. Switch that order. We're going to give Nathan about 30 seconds each to answer them. We're going to go through them pretty quickly. Hopefully get some hot takes. Maybe some cold takes. Who knows? Nathan gives us a little bit of both. So let's get into it here. Question number 1 for you, Nathan. The Habs are in a playoff spot and have the best record in the league since the Four Nations break. Where will they finish the season?
Hey man, all I gotta say is the Devils. I've been watching them in the rankings. They haven't put up many points this past week. We put up 5. Ottawa put up 2 this past week. 2, maybe 3. Yeah, even though we're in that second wildcard spot, we're 3 points behind Ottawa right now, and all the teams below us either have played the exact same amount of games as us or more. So I think we have a real shot of securing not just a wildcard spot, but a spot in the top 3 in our division.
I like it. I mean, it's going to take either Tampa or Toronto to falter there, maybe Florida even. But we'll go into question number 2 for you. With 17 games remaining in the season, this is now we're at 16, but with 17 games remaining, the Habs were 1 point out of a playoff spot. How does it feel to not be in 2022 when at the same point in the season we were 38 points out of a playoff spot?
We were last in the league at that point. We had to.
Yep.
It just shows growth and
This
progression.
is the year that we drafted Slaf as a side note.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. Hey, I mean, it just shows you the mastery of Kent Hughes there. For him to do that in 3 years, I mean, I think it says a lot about him as a manager. And then it's far more than we've seen a lot of other teams do. For instance, Buffalo. We can keep going, but I'll just grill Buffalo here because they got rid of Cousins. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Honestly, at this point, let's make the playoffs. But even if... I'm not going to even put that out there. I'm proud of the Habs, regardless what happens. That's it.
Sound like a dad, a modern day dad, I'm proud of you, son. Don't worry. Let's go. Question number 3 for you. Nick Suzuki is first in the league in points since the break. Lane Hudson is 4th in defenseman scoring since being put on the first power play unit back in November. Cole Caulfield is 8th in the league in goals. How does it feel to have 3 true stars on this team with more in the pipeline coming up?
I mean, I think those numbers speak for itself. All they needed was a little reset. I don't know where they went, maybe Cancun or something. But that's really all they needed. Like, while these other superstars were still playing their asses off, we got that break we needed, and it lit a fire underneath them. So, it was a double whammy right there. I'd love to see it. There was another stat I saw that the Habs were top 3 in the league in terms of record since the Four Nations face-off. I don't know. This team's looking good. Gonna knock on wood. Let's keep it going.
Keep it going, indeed. Talking about keeping it going, we've kind of been calling up some people from the AHL. Joshua Waugh is now with the team. We sent Owen Beck back down. We got to talk about another guy who hasn't seen NHL ice yet this season. Florian Jacki set a Laval Rocket record for most goals by a rookie. Should he be called up? And will he be a consistent NHLer by the end of next season?
I don't think he should be called up this season now. I think we got to keep what we got going here. We've been solid since the Four Nations face-off. Ken Hughes' decision not to make any big trades because we didn't need to. So for that same reason, I don't think we need Florian this season. But next season, yeah, I think we could, especially if he's setting records like that in the Q. Absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be up next season.
In the A, not even in the Q, though. Eh?
So,
We'll go.
Yeah, what am I?
We'll go to question number 5. Nathan, is it really that impressive to finish in 5 seconds, especially when you're cheating?
Not even. That's not even an achievement. 5 seconds? You think anyone's going to be proud of 5 seconds? Because I'll tell you, the other. We'll leave it there.
Okay, we'll go into the rest of the NHL. Question number 6 for you. We've had a lot of questions about him in the past, okay? But he deserves another one this week. Ovechkin is 8 goals away. When will Ovi break the record? Because now it doesn't really feel like an if. It really just feels like a when.
It's going to be mid-April. I mean, he's also 3rd in the league this year for goals. This is ludicrous. This guy's 39. It's going to happen. Okay, since I don't know when in April, I'm going to say within the next 10 games. In 10 games, he's getting that record. 8 goals in 10 games.
I like it. We'll come back in 10 games and see if you were right there. Going to question number 7. Florida. We were just talking about the Atlantic. Florida leads the Atlantic 2 points ahead of both Tampa and Toronto. Both of those teams have played one less game than Florida. What is your dream outcome of that battle? Especially considering that Ottawa right now is projected to be the team playing whoever comes in first in the division.
I hope Toronto wins the division again because we know what's going to happen in the first round anyways with Toronto. And then I'd like to have Tampa and Florida duke it out. Yeah, let's see who wins that Battle of Florida. Toronto's going down to hopefully us. And yeah, I think Toronto loses to the Senators or us, to be honest. That's it.
I like it. I agree. We'll go to question number 8. Who, at this point in the season, is your Hart Trophy pick? Is it McKinnon? Is it Draisaitl? Some people are even saying Hellebuck. But who is yours?
It's got to be, I think it's going to be Draisaitl. I mean, this guy has been putting on an absolute clinic for the second half of the season. He's just seems like he's getting at least 2 points every night. And I think they won 7-1 last night, and it was another 2 or 3 point night for him. So, I think Draisaitl is going to do it. He's always. It's nice to see someone on the Oilers beside Connor McDavid. I can't even say that. Connor McDavid had an end-to-end rush last night too, but they just have 2 superstars constantly. So I just think it's going to be Draisaitl.
Okay. We'll go Draisaitl then for that. This is a similar-ish question, actually. But who will win the President's Trophy? Right now, we've got a really close race for it. We have the Washington Capitals and the Winnipeg Jets tied at 98 points apiece. The Caps have 1 game in hand. And as you just said, you project Alex Ovechkin getting 8 goals in the next 10 games. So are you giving it to Washington, or will Winnipeg make the final stretch?
I think Winnipeg will. I mean, I think Washington will do it. They're going to win the President's Trophy. And they're going to get the curse that the Boston Bruins had. They're going to get dropped first round. They've had a miracle season, but again, when playoffs come around, it's a whole new season. Teams crank up the volume, or they crank it up as high as it can go. And I don't think that some of the teams have, and I think Washington has been max output this entire season. I just don't know. They will be able to keep it through the playoffs, but I don't think the other teams have fully clicked into that yet.
I like it. We'll go into question number 10. Kind of a fun question, actually. I heard this I heard somebody else do this, and I was like, oh, this would actually be pretty cool. We're going to invent a trophy, okay? It's called the Most Improved Trophy. You can give it to a player. You can give it to a team. Who around the NHL gets the trophy?
Team, the Habs. Player, you're going to have to give me a second. I can't put my finger on a specific player right now, but team, definitely the Habs. I mean,
the Habs, not the Capitals.
Capitals have always had skill power. The Capitals have always had that skill. They've had the talent to at least make the playoffs. I wouldn't say they're the most improved. They are first in the league, but The Habs clawing all the way into a playoff spot when everyone thought we weren't going to get there. People calling us delusional online. All other Habs fans backing us. Every other fan base shitting on the Habs. And here we are.
I like it. For most improved players, as I know, we can talk about this now. We can come out of the frozen forum flash and have a real discussion. I think Alexei Protas on the Capitals deserves a shout out as a player. Maybe even talk about Pierre-Luc Dubois on that team, talking about how, like, yeah, sure, he always had the star power, or we thought he did, but he's actually been playing well. There's got to be others. I mean, talk about Columbus, the Blue Jackets. Like, few players over there. Talk about Zach
Werenski, Marchenko. Who's the other guy I'm forgetting about?
I picked him up in fantasy. Fun fact: I have 2 defensemen in fantasy now. Yeah. I dropped. I wanted to pick up Protas, and I wanted to pick up what was his name, Matthew Olivier. That guy, I don't know what he's doing, but he's 79th in the league in points, like in fantasy points.
He fights like every night.
Is that what's happening? Is that
yes,
how he's getting points?
He is like one of the biggest goons this year. He's been fighting, I swear, every other night.
Yeah, he's got a lot of hits, a lot of shots on goal though too, right? And like goals and points and pims and like, oh man, it's fantastic. It's like I need him. I was like, what is Jacob Trouba and this other defenseman I had on my team? Like, what are they doing? Like nothing, right? Like they're not going to give me points. So we're going 2 defensemen.
Fair enough.
Lehner and Mackenzie Weegar. It's a crazy defenseman lineup.
Ridiculous. So you're going to grab another one soon, hopefully.
No, I have no space. I don't know who to drop. Like everybody on my team is good.
What place are you now?
Third, but I'm leading. I'm like first or second in the league in points, total points.
You're solid. I'll dial it in next year when I know I'm actually going to be in Canada for.
Yeah, sure.
I will, because I'll be watching hockey.
Nathan is like the pinnacle of. I'm going to do so well in fantasy by November. Yeah, guys, I kind of forgot to set my roster and do stuff. I'm just going to give up now.
Well, to be fair, this year, I'm in France. Every game starts at 1 a.m. I'm not staying up to 1 a.m. to watch every game. Let me tell you that.
But I mean, I don't watch any hockey. I mean, like fantasy, honestly, when you're in Europe, you've got, like, the advantage. Because, like, when you wake up in the morning, that's right when you, like, the waiver wire, like, opens. You know, it's like 3 o'clock. It's 3 a.m. Eastern. So it's literally, like 8 o'clock in the morning for you. It's like perfect time to add people.
That is fair, but I do also have class because I'm here for school.
That's true. Listen, let's talk about some other things around the Habs. I think in general we've been really happy with everything. Like
I don't have many complaints. I really don't. Like
what's up with
the biggest complaint was the refs. The refs in the Kraken game. That second goal last night. Matheson is screening Montemo
again,
but we bounced back from that. Like,
yep.
I don't know.
Lehner's goal last night, though, eh? Oh my goodness!
Nasty.
You want to hear something funny? Actually, last night I was watching the game. I had an AirPod in. We were at a golf simulator with Michael, and so I had my phone out. I'm swinging. I'm playing courses. And every once in a while, I go, "Oh, we just scored!" And he'd be like, "Oh, okay, nice." Michael just kind of looks up at me like, "Okay."
Nice. So you guys were there. You guys were there a little late, like 9, 10?
8 till 10. We did like a 2-hour, like a solid. You know, I played like 3 full rounds of golf. So no, it was good. Nice. Yeah, I honestly like this team. Like Suzuki is like one of the best players in the league right now, like hands down. That first line is just insane. Like that first line is playing like one of the best first lines in the NFL. And there has not been a team we've played that has had an answer for it. Like arguably last night they had their worst night, right? No goals, no points.
Yeah,
except for Nick Suzuki's, but that wasn't with the first line, right? Like
he was changing. Yeah.
Well, fun fact on that Suzuki goal, eh? It was right at the end of the power play. Suzuki was on the ice for 1:58. Like, he was on the ice with the first unit, and he just stayed out with the second unit. And then it was with that second unit that he scores.
I saw in the celebration, like, he was fumbling. His feet were stumbling, so he must have been tired. But hey, he earned that goal. Shout out to the ref for that, because he could have blown that down, but
easily.
he recognized the puck was still out. So
I love it when refs see the puck, and like actually like don't try to guess where the puck is. They go, oh,
it's there. So I
still
won't
live.
blow the whistle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
That's
very
good.
nice. Yeah. That Seattle goal, man. In the moment, I was like, man, we suck. Like, how do we allow that to happen? On a side note to that, I don't think it's ever happening again. Believe me, those players on the ice learned their lesson.
For that setup, bro. I know that's an optimal setup for NHL teams in terms of just stats, but yeah, if that happens, then you get a record for the fastest goal ever scored in overtime. It's not going to happen again.
It's not going to happen again. There's not a. I mean, it was a great play from Seattle. Like it was perfect play. It was just not executed properly, right? And the refs should have called it. There should have been a linesman who blew the whistle that says, "Hey, the guy jumped," because like there's a picture of it. What's his name is fully over the red line before the puck is out of the ref's hands. Like it's like, as you said earlier, it's illegal. I was a little pissed off about that, but that's what happens.
It's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, but we still got the other 4 points. So
We
we got the other
We
4
did.
points without letting the other team get any points, which is a
We
bigger
did.
thing. That
Regulation wins, baby. Like
we need them. We need a lot of
when
them.
we're looking at this playoff picture, the only thing right now that is going to stand in our way of getting in the playoffs is going to be our regulation wins. Like it's like if we finish the season tied with any team, we lose the tiebreaker.
We need to get these regulation wins, or else it's a tough spot.
I like it much better if we just kept winning.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree.
If we win every game from now until the end of the season, we make the playoffs. So
We make the playoffs in not a wild card spot.
if we win every single game, what would that even give us? What do we have left? 15 games left?
16?
So no, I think it's 15. We've played 67.
Yeah, you're right.
So 15. So 15 games left. Give us 30 points. We'd be at 103. It could put us into third. Although if we go on a 15-game stretch, like after all, that would be a 17-game win streak. First of all, definitely set records in the NHL. So we can go out on a limb here and say it's not going to happen. But if we did, you got to think there'd be nothing left in the tank for the first round.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they have a few days off. They could maybe go to Cancun again real quick and then come back. Just like
Yeah.
nation.
Play some volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I mean the craziest thing about the Habs right now, like the last 10 games, 7-1-2.
Absolutely nuts. 7? Is it 7-1-2? I thought that was 2 games ago. I guess it must be the same then. Okay, 7-1-2 last 10 games. Yeah.
I'm looking at the NHL website. I think the NHL.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Talking about the NHL website though, I was checking this really cool stat. It's called assists, right? Because I was curious as to like, who puts up assists in the NHL. I was scrolling down the list. I'm like, oh, look at this, 14th in the league, Nick Suzuki. 15th in the league, Lane Hudson. Huh, that's kind of crazy. We have 2 players in the top 30.
It's pretty solid. What about goals? What are we looking for goals?
Well, goals, I said it earlier. Caulfield's is tied for 8th with 33. Yeah. And I mean, like, when I say tied for 8th, he's 1 goal away from being tied for 5th with like David Pastrnak. There is a world in which he finishes top 5 in goals to finish the year. Which is it's kind of ridiculous.
Ludicrous. What's a Lane at now? Because I think we said 70. Like he could hit 70.
It's 53 points.
Okay.
Leads the rookie race by 3 points right now, and
he's somehow not
that goal last night. Sorry.
And he's somehow not the Calder favorite.
He's somehow not. I still don't really understand. I think hear me out here. This whole thing about Lane being like an underdog, right? It's definitely just the Habs impact, right? It's definitely that all the other fan bases just don't like the Habs and don't want the Habs to have good things, right?
It's the Habs impact, and I also think Macklin Celebrini, the first overall pick, like he's the man.
I mean, arguably, I'm going to go on the record here, okay? I'll say this. If Macklin Celebrini wins the Calder, something is truly wrong with everything that we do in the NHL.
Unless he goes on a heater.
No, but this is the whole thing.
No, you can't say that. If he goes on like a heater where he's getting 1 to 2 points a night for every game for the rest of the season, and Lane can't match that, it's kind of hard to argue Lane. Lane's had a phenomenal rookie season. Do not get me wrong.
Okay,
But that would
look,
put
look. Compare
that would put
to
Mac
compare
higher.
a defenseman to compare a defenseman's points and be like, oh look, this forward outscored the defenseman. It's like, no shit, the forward outscored the defenseman. That's what he's supposed to be doing.
That's fair. But I think part of the argument also comes into the fact that Sharks are last in the league. And if he's putting those points up on a team that's last in the league, then he's an impact player. But it should be tight. It should be tight for the rest of the season.
Is Macklin Celebrini a true first overall pick? Yes. Of course. Give him that. All I'm trying to say, right now, Lane Hutson is tied with Quinn Hughes for 14th most points scored by a rookie defenseman ever. And there are 15 games left in the season. Even if he's been on a point per game pace since being put on the first power play unit. Even if you put him down to half a point per game and you give him 7 more points, we're talking about a top 7 rookie defenseman points of all time. Not of this season, not of before, whatever. He's got more points than Cale Makar's rookie season. He's got more points than Moritz Seider's rookie season. He's got more points than Zach Werenski. I mean, if you want to go back into other players that matter. There are a lot of other defensemen here, right? Historically, who have had less points in the rookie season. I just look at it, it's like Macklin Celebrini, is he great? Yeah, but he's a forward. He's a first overall pick, and he's doing first overall pick forward things. We're talking about a defenseman. We're literally comparing defenseman points to forward points and going, well, I guess whoever wins the scoring race wins. It's like, no, this is freaking ridiculous that a defenseman is putting this up. And also, you look at his defensive numbers the last few games. His expected goals above replacement, his goals above replacement, his goals for percentages, his shots for percentages, all of them, are all fantastic. So he's being a defenseman, and he's putting up potentially the 7th and maybe even more best, most points as a rookie defenseman in NHL history. I just don't understand. Now, I'll say this. If Dustin Wolf wins the Calder, I have no complaints. And here's why. I think if the Calgary Flames, they're not currently in a playoff spot. If the Calgary Flames make the playoffs, the only reason they're making the playoffs is because of Dustin Wolf. Dustin Wolf is putting up top 3 goaltender numbers in the NHL right now in terms of save percentage and all that other stuff. If he wins, and the Calgary Flames make the playoffs and he wins it, I'm going on the record right now and saying I won't complain. I understand. Maybe I'll complain a little bit, but I understand.
But Macklin Celebrini, you don't understand. Okay, I get you. But still, if Celebrini puts up 2 points a game for the next whatever games, I think he should win. Less than that, yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, fine. I'll give him 2 points a game. He's not scoring 2 points a game, man. It's the freaking San Jose Sharks we're talking about here.
Yeah.
The other thing, sorry, I know that keeps being made a point. It's if Macklin Celebrini was on a better team, he'd be even better, whatever. Sorry, the Montreal Canadiens are not the pinnacle of hockey, man. If Lane Hutson was playing on the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, the guy would have 100 points. You know what I mean? Our power play is 22nd in the NHL.
Bring up good points, bro.
That's all I'm trying to say. The equivalence here is ridiculous to say that. Yeah. Anyways, the real thing that I'm curious about is next year, when Ivan Demidov is our Calder Trophy favorite, is which defenseman some other fan base puts up to be oh no, this defenseman should win it. And look, who cares what Ivan Demidov is doing in terms of points and all that other stuff? Is this defenseman is doing such great things, and the defenseman is not even going to be as good as Lane Hutson. You know what I mean? This is the duality in the NHL is always what I'm trying to point out right now.
It's just the Habs. Just what happens to the Habs? You think? Because we're the Habs.
Because we're the Habs.
They hate us because they ain't us. They want those cups.
They want the cups. They want this year's cup, and look who's going to take it.
Yeah. Taking it from Florida, taking it from Washington, taking it from Winnipeg. Don't matter. Montreal.
I will say this, Nathan. The run the Habs are going on right now, you look at the city, you look at everything going around the team. If I'm a player on another team who's looking for a team to play for next year, if I'm a UFA, if I'm an RFA even, I'm going, man, that would be fun to play in. Like this atmosphere, I don't know, this Calder race. I really think if Calgary does not make the playoffs and Hudson finishes with the most points among rookies, like I actually believe that the rest of the NHL will come around and be like, okay, yeah, Lane has to win it. I think right now the expectation is that Lane's going to fall off, that Macklin Celebrini is going to continue to be dominant, and that's what they're sort of pricing into the markets. I don't see a world where that happens. Because, I mean, you saw it last night, like that Lane Hudson goal. That's a goal that is created basically out of thin air. You know, the announcer at the time was like, oh, look, you know, Lane sees the goalie getting screened. He beat the goalie straight.
He beat the goalie. He also was getting charged at. Like, he basically stopped on a dime and somehow got his speed back like that to get around the forward.
Instantaneously.
I mean, that's just elite. That's just elite defenseman stuff right there. That's like what you see out of Quinn Hughes now. That's pretty impressive stuff from our
20-year-old rookie defenseman, man. Fourth. And this is the whole thing. He's freaking fourth in defenseman points since being placed on the first power play unit. Like, that's fourth to Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, Zach Werenski. That's it.
Nutty. Absolutely ludicrous, man. This team is,
you know, every
I feel like
podcast,
a broken record at this point.
Every podcast, I come in and be like, okay, I'm not going to hype up Lane too much this episode. And then we start talking about things, and I'm like, man, it actually pisses me off how many people do not understand how freaking good this guy is. And if they do understand it, that's why they're getting mad at us, eh? Because they understand how good. They see Lane Hudson, and they're like, man, this guy is a real star. He's on the Habs. Therefore, we need to make him feel like the worst person in the world. Like that's what the other fan bases are doing. It's exactly what they did to Brendan Gallagher. It's what we did to Brad Marchand. As a side note,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
we need an episode name one day. All aboard the Lane train. I think that'd be a pretty solid name, right there.
That's a solid name. Man, I need to go to you to name these episodes.
Yeah. Whoa. It already takes me quite a bit of time to make these shorts.
That's what I'm. Anyways, the rest of the NHL. You were talking about Quinton Byfield earlier.
Yeah.
Well, what else have you been seeing around?
I mean, the rookies have been doing. I mean, not rookies. The young guys in the league have been putting up points recently. Quinton Byfield, 6 goals, 6 games. That might have changed last night. Wyatt Johnson's got like 18 points in the last 12 games. Like, he's already proved he's the real deal. Sidney Crosby, now 4th all-time for the most points with a single franchise, beating Wayne Gretzky last night with their 4-2 loss to the New York Islanders, whoever. But hey, Sidney Crosby, 4th all-time.
Talking about Sidney Crosby, we talked about Wayne Gretzky's record for goals with Alex Ovechkin. There could be 2 Wayne Gretzky records broken this year. First one is goals. That's the easy one. I'm not actually saying easy. I'm just saying like easy as in like going to happen. The other one is most consecutive point per game seasons in the NHL. If Sidney Crosby is currently tied with Gretzky at like, I think it's 19 seasons in a row of being a point per game player. If Sidney Crosby finishes this year with a point per game, he will become the sole owner as having the most point per game seasons consecutively in NHL history. Talk about an insane stat.
2 decades, bro. What? That doesn't even seem real, but he was drafted in what, 05? That's when he started?
Drafted 05, yeah.
So what, that means every single year? I'm speechless. I really don't know what you want me to say here.
Like 05, 06, 102 points. 06, like that's, sorry, as a side note, what a crazy freaking rookie year. Like, huh? Like 102 points in 81 games. But yeah, no, like I'm just looking at it and it's like, yeah, it's damn.
Point per game for 20 seasons. What is he at right now? And how many games?
He's got 74 and 68. So he's on track. He's 8 points away. To be honest, like the real way to think about it is he's 8 points away from having 82 points, and that would guarantee him the record.
It's ridiculous. Sidney Crosby. I know this guy doesn't have an Ironman streak, but man, all those concussions hurt him back then. But
yeah,
that's more impressive than the Ironman streak.
Even in the years that he was injured, like it's still more than a point per game. It's like crazy, absolutely ludicrous.
Has he ever had 2 point per game season? Yeah. That'd be nuts.
Came close, but no, he hasn't done it. The closest he came was 37 and 22. It's back in 11-12. I think that's the year that he got 37 and 22. Not too bad. It's crazy though when you put it like this though, right? You really start to look at Gretzky's records, and like the reason Gretzky will go down as the GOAT, right, and will always be, is because like yeah, this record is beatable. The goals record is beatable. The points record,
not beatable. The assists record, not beatable. The assists in a single season record, that is the most ludicrous one I've seen. Isn't it like 180 or something?
Let me find it. You can keep talking about other things.
I'm just trying to think of more records. Like, what, he put up 4 cups with the Oilers. I don't know. Like, the assist one is the one that baffles me the most. The assists in a single season.
Where does it say? The stats, awards.
Isn't he also the youngest NHL player ever?
Who?
Wayne Gretzky? I think he came into the league at like 15 or 16.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so most goals including playoffs is 1,000. 1,016. Most goals in one season, 92. Most goals one season including playoffs was 100. And that wasn't even the season that he scored 92 goals in a season. Most goals in 50 games was 61 goals.
Quickest to 50 goals.
Most goals in one single NHL period of 20 minutes was 4. He's tied with 10 other players in that somehow. I don't know how that is. Most assists, 1,963.
That's
most assists, like that's 100 assist season, 19 years in a row. That's the only way you can do that in today's modern day NHL. Atlee Hudson.
Hey. Okay, let's see.
I can't even say it with a straight face. That's how you know how ludicrous it is. Okay, most assists in one season, 163, including the playoffs, 174. Most assists in one game, 7.
Okay, like the assist record is so ludicrous because if you remove all of his goals from that season, he is 2 points per game player. He's a 2 point per game player.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. This guy was on another planet. Have you ever seen the video of him sprinting against Pele, a tennis star, and then an Olympic sprinter? Or an Olympic 800-meter runner? Dust all of them. I'll send you the video after this pod, but like this guy was a machine. He was just such an athlete. When I think of Wayne Gretzky now, because I just know the Wayne Gretzky now, do you imagine him as an athlete? Like a
No, you see him now? Man, yeah. I see the same thing. I'll say the same thing about so many other guys who are like on these, who are like on Sportsnet and on like other broadcasts. It's like, you see them and you're like, there's no way this guy played hockey. And then you look him up and you're like, oh damn, he did. It's like, you see, isn't it Lemieux who's on one of the shows in the States? Like you see him and you're like, huh?
This guy's like, one of the goats.
Yeah. This guy? Really? Like, seems like you're average.
No disrespect to Lemieux.
The lesson here, everybody. You can be anybody. You can look like anything, and you can go set records in the NHL. You just have to be better than everybody. It's not that hard. Exactly. Man.
And what else from the league, though, this week? To be honest, I think the Habs have been the league this week.
Been the whole league, man. They've been the whole league. Like, that win against Florida was so nice. The win against Ottawa just feels so good too, because it's like we're competing with them for like the first wild card spot. I'm low key convinced that it's actually better for us to be in the second wild card spot. Like I'll take Washington first round. We've beat Washington twice this season. That team is like the way that they play hockey. I think our team plays really well against that style of play. Whereas like Toronto, Florida, Tampa. Like, I don't want to play Florida. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be in that first wild card spot playing Florida, if that's who the matchup is. I'll play Toronto.
Toronto, no problem. Tampa.
Like, I don't really want to see Tampa either. You know what I mean? Like I'll take Washington. And I know how good that team is. Don't get me wrong. Like, I do understand what it means to have 98 points. Just like, if you win the President's Trophy, you're doomed. Like, I think actually Washington was the last team that won when they won the President's Trophy. So maybe that's not great for Washington's sake. But
well, the Boston Bruins that put up 130 whatever points.
Well, I was going to say, because before Washington, it's like let me see if I can find it.
The last President's Trophy team to, just as a heads up, I do have to get going soon.
Yeah, we should cut the podcast soon. I think it's I think it's just Washington is the last one.
Or what?
Like to win the cup. Where is this? No, it wouldn't even been. Wait. Lost. The last one to win this cup is the Chicago Blackhawks 2012.
My gosh.
Yeah. So the President's Trophy has been a curse. Not only has it been a curse, the Rangers won it last year. Kind of crazy, eh? How quickly that team turned around. The Rangers won it last year. They lost in the conference final. Other than the conference finals, actually the Rangers both times they won it, they lost in the conference finals. Every other team is out in the first or second round.
Wait a minute. Think of this. Boston Bruins win the Presidents. Look at the team now. The Rangers win the Presidents. Look at the team now. The Capitals, if they win the Presidents, what's going to happen to them? They've got a pretty old team over there.
Well, that team, I mean, we've been saying it all year, has been like the Goldilocks team. Has been like the somehow everything came together properly. Nobody really understands why, but
I have a feeling that just this Ovechkin record is lighting a fire under everyone. I wonder if after he gets it, the team just kind of.
I mean, I wonder, like, he retires next year, right? Probably, like if he hits it this year.
Yeah,
Unless
I think so.
I mean, he should stay in the league if he's still third in goals. Like that's ridiculous.
39 years old, third in the league.
I guess the way he should think about it, is he should stay in the league because if he could break the record, somebody else in the future should be able to as well. So he needs to set the record as high as he possibly can to hold it as long as he can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's crazy. Yeah. It is a crazy stat.
Crazy time in the league, baby. We got records that are going to be hopefully broken. Habs hopefully in the playoffs. Man, we got a whole lot of stuff coming up.
So exciting. It's so nice to be in a playoff spot, Nathan. Oh man, what a great time.
Such a nice, calm, chill episode, talking great things the whole time. Love it. Hopefully we'll be like this next time. Speaking of next time, thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode of the Frozen Forum podcast. For those of you that have made it this deep in the episode, we really appreciate you so much for listening to this episode. Yeah, if you're listening to this on Spotify, make sure that you follow us. Hit those stars, give us 5 stars there, helps us grow there. And same for Apple Podcasts and Amazon Podcasts. If you're listening or watching on YouTube, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, helps us grow tremendously. And we are going to remind you again, giveaway at 100 subscribers. And if we make the playoffs, it'll still be continuing in the playoffs. But we still have to hit the 100 subscriber mark. You'll see what that giveaway is once that happens. Make sure you tune in to us on all platforms. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we're there. Just look up the Frozen Forum podcast. You'll see us. And until next time.
We got 3 games, before you say it, we got 3 games this week. We got the Islanders tomorrow. We got the Colorado Avalanche on Saturday. We got the St. Louis Blues next Tuesday. 3 games, 6 points. Let's do it.
With that, au revoir et bonsoir.